Hey there. Thanks for joining me today. My name is Jules and I'm building a nail salon for one of the Sims in my current gameplay. In case anyone is interested, let me tell you just a little bit about Harper and her backstory. She's about 16 or 17 years old and recently lost both of her parents in a tragic accident. No, not a car accident. We all know cars don't really exist. They're just a myth, like unicorns and the tooth fairy. Now, no one really knows what type of accident occurred, but we do know that it was tragic. Harper is an orphan, but she's not alone. You see, she stopped attending her regular high school classes so she can earn a living and support her little brother and sister, as well as herself. She's been slowly working her way up in the wellness skill so that she can start doing manicures and pedicures. Her love of fashion and beauty, as well as her creative streak, make nail art her dream job. Unfortunately, the thought of ever having enough simoleons to buy her own salon seems nearly impossible. Harper has been struggling to pay the bills and still have enough money left over to feed the kids. But recently, Harper started a flirtation with Devin, who grew up on his family's large farm where he's been living with his parents and younger sister, as well as his older sister and her husband and son. And wouldn't you know, just as I was getting into the groove of playing their household and figuring out how they could live self-sufficiently off of their farm, his brother-in-law won the lottery. I honestly didn't know it was even possible for your sim to win the lottery. I thought it was just another meaningless nonsense Sims holiday. And let me say, I wasn't super excited about his win. It made the gameplay very boring. Their brand new farm stand seemed pretty unnecessary with an extra million simoleons in their household funds. So now, what shall we do with all of that money? Well, it only makes sense to some of it would get divided up as the kids grow up and move out. We're hoping, of course, that Harper and Devin will start a relationship soon and eventually get married. And Devin will use at least some of his portion of the winnings to buy a nail salon for Harper, maybe as a wedding gift. So I figured I should go ahead and build one so that it's ready when they get to that point in their story. But as usual, I've been rambling again. So enough about that. Let's get into this build, shall we? So I set the lot as a retail venue, thinking that at least it could be a usable space since most of it isn't actually functional and would be pretty useless otherwise. Now, I didn't actually set anything for sale, just in case anyone would want to download it as a different lot type anyway. But as long as you keep one massage chair available, you could set pretty much anything else for sale and still be able to use the venue to do nails as well. If you do decide to change the lot type, it won't really work as a spa since it doesn't meet those requirements. And of course, your Sims also won't be able to own it as a spa. Can we talk about that for a moment? I love the spa day refresh. No, really, I think it's great. I love that my Sims can teach yoga in the park and just generally earn a living from the wellness skill. Plus, it's giving me an excuse to build a nail salon. But could we have maybe made it so we could actually own and run our own spas? And while we were at it, why not a whole new lot type of an actual salon too? Am I the only one who feels like this would have been the perfect time to add in other salon services like makeup and haircuts? I mean, the animation is basically already there, right? Just think of the hair and makeup chair and get famous. Why not add that into the game for everyday grooming and fun makeup too? Just imagine the weird midlife crisis haircuts and bad dye jobs your Sims could get. No? Just me? Now, those shelves on the wall with all of the nail polish between the two windows that I'm placing, those are probably my favorite thing in this entire build. Not because they're just such an interesting feature or because I had just such a great time placing all of that nail polish on the shelves, but because it feels very realistic and I love that. And now, mind you, I've probably only been in a nail salon maybe 5 or 6 times in real life, so I'm hardly an authority on the subject. But it makes sense to me. I just imagine my Sims going over to pick out a nail polish color before their manicure. Wow. So it just occurred to me that Sims have basically become the Barbie dolls of my adult life. That's not that weird, right? I have to be honest and say that this build was just a little bit outside of my comfort zone. I knew that I wanted it to be in the city, and I knew I wanted to have a converted warehouse industrial loft vibe. Of course, that meant that most of the decor was going to lean more towards the modern side. While I do love that style, the builds that I personally have the most fun with are the ones that feel very lived in and have a lot of character. Worn out linoleum on the floors, old dusty grandma curtains in the windows. That is, the curtains are dusty, not the grandmas. But those types of things clearly didn't fit here, so I knew I was going to have to add character in different ways. I did this by trying to add enough clutter so that it would look like an actual functional salon, but not so much that it would look, well, cluttered. I added objects to the manicure tables that we can imagine are things you might typically find in a nail salon, like hand lotions and nail polish remover. And of course, every table also got its own set of nail polish and a manicurist light as well. Now, as we move upstairs to the loft, I knew I wanted to use this as a slightly more private space to have foot massages and pedicures because I don't know about you, but I'm not a huge fan of looking at strangers' feet, especially when I'm trying to relax. My goal with this build was to really make it feel like a place that you could actually pass by in the city and want to stop into. Although, if I'm being completely honest, I'd feel a little out of place here. But hopefully it's a place you could see yourself in, or at least see your Sims going to. I hope you enjoy this video. If you do, please hit that like button. I would love it if you'd subscribe. Stay tuned for more content coming soon. I hope you have a beautiful day.